So you've been thinking about relocating to Idaho, but you're not sure which city and suburb is the best fit for you and your family. In this video, we are going to help you figure out which one makes the most sense for you and your needs. So let's get after it right now.
So I am the native on the team. I've been here my whole life. This is home. I've seen the Treasure Valley grow immensely. There's this shirt company who actually makes a shirt. It says, I remember when that used to be a field and that was my life.
How time does fly.
I grew up on Eagle Road when it was a 2-lane farm road and there was horse pastures all over the place. Fast forward to today, today has changed drastically. The Treasure Valley has grown immensely, which is a good thing. There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons, mostly pros. A lot of great people have been relocating here to the valley. But we wanted to address a lot of the questions that we get asked weekly, daily. Where do I go? We're thinking Boise. We've heard about Meridian, we've heard about Star. What is that? Where are we? Where should we relocate? So we wanted to talk about and address what's what, where should we move to, and what are some of the pros and cons of each different city, suburb.
Yep, so we're going to cover the most common categories that people are concerned with. If we're reviewing something that doesn't pertain to you, stick around because we will definitely get to a topic that we know you have a ton of questions about and are super concerned with. So we're going to review everything from schools to safety, best places for acreage, if you've got an RV, convenience, hospitals, you name it. We're going to do our best to try and help you really hone in and figure out which suburb is the best fit for you.
Let's talk Boise. Boise is the star. It's the capital city of Idaho. This is where the beauty is. Typically when people are talking about relocating to the Treasure Valley, Boise is what they know. It's what they've heard of. Boise has a lot to offer. I give the same talk to everybody we talk about, so if you've heard this before, I apologize, but Boise, 30 minutes really in any direction. You could be up in the mountains, up in the foothills, you can be in the desert, the forest, you can be skiing up at Bogus Basin, you could be water skiing at the Lucky Peak Reservoir, you can be at the Boise State at the college walking the Greenbelt, you could be having a great meal downtown. Boise has so much to offer. It is beautiful. What was that, Rachel?
Oh, I said everything.
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, no, seriously, everything you could ever imagine in a city, Boise has. Honestly, the downtown is super cute and quaint. It's big enough where it'll take you multiple trips to experience, but it's just small enough where you can really walk the whole thing in an afternoon or a day. You know, you don't have to take an Uber to a different part of the downtown. It's got everything really in one central location. With that being said, it is really in the middle of the valley, right? It's in the heart of the area of the Treasure Valley, so there's just tons of outdoor things to do. It's right at the base of the foothills / the mountains, so there's a lot of recreational hiking, biking. They call it Le Bois, the city of trees is what it stands for, and it's literally trees everywhere, right? When you get to the plateaus and you get to Table Rock, you can overlook the city and you understand, oh yeah, I get it. I understand why. What do you think, Rachel? What else do you have to say?
So I think Boise, just like any other city, has some really unique and distinct neighborhoods. And if you think you want to live in the heart of the Treasure Valley or any of the suburbs, it's really going to take some time to chat with you and see what it is specifically that you're looking for. But something I really enjoy about Boise is if you're into really pretty, unique, historic homes. We've got the North End, where you just hands down cannot beat the historic homes in the North End. You've got the Bench, so if you're someone who is into no homeowners associations, you want a front yard garden, something a little bit more eclectic that is recently more gentrified, the Bench is awesome. It has stellar views. Pretty much any kind of eclectic vibe that you want, that you're going for, along with the convenience, even a suburban feel, there is something available in Boise, and that is definitely a video all on its own. But more popular than relocating to Boise itself are our suburbs, the suburbs in Boise. So I think doing a little bit of a highlight of everything and then kind of picking and choosing which one shines for all the different categories is going to make the most sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just to quickly touch on that, a lot of mid-century modern homes are going to be found on the bench. I grew up on the west side of Boise, so the west end, the West Bench area. It's right on the cusp of Meridian. We have a lot of people really finding peace. They're finding comfort over in that kind of spot, maybe more towards the north part of Meridian, which is a great segue into Meridian, honestly. What is Meridian? Why Meridian? What is it about? Meridian, we're going to touch on schools too. So Meridian is really sought after for the West Ada School District. It's probably the most, I think, sought after, would you say?
I think it's the most sought after school district, and really, as far as the schools go, West Ada. So you might notice that Idaho overall doesn't have very high rankings when it comes to our public school system. But what's really interesting about that is that the rankings that you are seeing when you go online are based on what the school spends per student. It's not based on test scores. So actually, when it comes down to test scores, Idaho is always ranking top 3 to 5 in the entire nation. So with the least amount of money, we're getting some of the best results. So I think that's really good. And as far as the school district is concerned, the schools, I know this is a big question that a lot of our clients have. The schools are still government schools. The difference is the community surrounding the school is on your side when it comes to protecting our kiddos. So if any funny business starts going on at the school, you've got a community all around you to help fight for the kids there at the school and your kids, and it's going to feel very different from what a lot of you are experiencing if you're looking at relocating from, let's say, California, Oregon, Washington. So while some of the things might start to show up a little bit here and there, the community doesn't stand for it. So you're pretty good here in Idaho, I think, as far as the safety of your kiddos and what they're learning in school. And yes, West Ada School District, hands down, I think is the most sought after public school district in the Treasure Valley. So Meridian definitely wins for public school system.
And I think you bring up a good point that might not be focused on as much. When you're looking for a school district, what are you looking for specifically, right? Are you looking for prim and proper, straight A's, teaching all this high-end, college prep stuff? Or are you looking for a school district that is for you, right? They're empowering the parent to parent the child instead of the other way around, right? Where the school district is the one really making a lot of the decisions for your child. And West Ada is really parent driven, if that makes sense, right? The community is for the parent to be involved with their child's academics, and it's not the other way around. The schools are not getting, they're not trying to play mom and dad, if that makes sense.
That's a really good way of saying it. Yeah, so our vote when it comes to public schools here in the Treasure Valley goes to Meridian as one of the best suburbs.
Hi guys, my name's Nate.
And I'm Rachel, and on this channel we do our very best to teach you everything you need to know about working, playing, and living in the Treasure Valley, Idaho. So if you need information about relocating here, go ahead and tap the subscribe button and click this little bell. That way you never miss a video on relocating to Idaho. Also, we're both licensed realtors. We run the #1 relocation team here in Idaho. So if you have any questions or you need any help at all, don't hesitate. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or write us an email. And I think following that, I would probably go with Eagle. They have some great charter schools that are part of the public school system. That same thing. Parents are very involved, and there's some great ratings when it comes to test scores. So I think really though, you're not going to go wrong anywhere in the Treasure Valley when it comes to schools. If you're into homeschooling, we've got a lot of that and a lot of support for that. Nate, 4 boys, one that was just born a week ago. They homeschool, and then we've got some great private schools in the Treasure Valley also, and those border on the line of Meridian and Eagle, so you can live in Eagle or Meridian and take advantage of that. And there's another private school in Nampa that's really sought after, so still vote goes Meridian, then Eagle. But
before we move on to some of the other cities, let's talk about what Meridian has to offer. A lot of our clients are really finding the north part of Meridian as the sweet spot. It's kind of been the very hot destination for relocation currently. North Meridian is close to Costco. It's close to a lot of shopping. It's kind of more of how would you say, a little bit more pride, I think, in ownership might be over in that northern part of Meridian. You're going to see home prices up a little bit more than compared to south or central part of Meridian. It's right on the cusp of Eagle. Great access to the trails out there, close to really anything you need. With Costco being a big focal point for a lot of our clients, Costco's out there. We have Winco, Fred Meyer, tons of grocery stores that are really close and accessible. Still close to Boise if you want to go to the downtown and have a great time out or enjoy a nice meal. Meridian also has the Village. It's a big outdoor shopping mall. It's kind of a corporate, big brand focused little shopping mall, but there's a lot to offer. There's a lot of things to do. In the wintertime, they have an ice skating rink for the kids or families or whoever, if you want to have a nice little date night out there. In the summertime, they take that same space and it's an outdoor jungle gym for the kids. There's a movie theater over there, a lot of places to eat. We're getting an In-N-Out, which should be here, I think, in the next month or so, which is kind of the talk of the town currently. The Village is great. There's a lot of things to do. Meridian in general is kind of suburbia, right? You're going to get a lot of those HOA communities. So if you're looking for something like that, where there is an HOA that's active, that is actually taking your money, your monthly, your yearly, annual dues and using it for good, Meridian is a great spot.
Yeah, I have to interject. HOA here in the Treasure Valley is not the scary HOA that I think a lot of people are familiar with or think they want to shy away from. Our HOAs really do take care of the community, protect the value of your home, and they are really fun. A lot of the HOAs here plan events. There's parades in the community. I mean, you name it. Depending on which neighborhood you end up in, there's a different level of involvement, but it's not the scary HOA that you see being made fun of on sitcoms. They're not super concerned about your trash cans. I mean,
We seek to enforce the spirit of the bylaws in this HOA.
you got to be a pretty bad homeowner.
Sure.
No offense, in order for the HOA out here to get after you. So our HOAs are pretty chill and they do a lot for the communities. So they're actually pretty liked, I would say, out here.
Yeah, and they're affordable. Most HOAs are, $1,200 and below. The sweet spot is around the $600 to $800 price point annually. So you're not paying an arm and a leg for these HOA dues. Meridian, so great school district, West Ada, really sought after. It's central, right? It's the in-between Boise and Nampa. We'll talk about Nampa shortly, but Meridian is kind of the central hub. On the outskirts of Boise, a little bit more affordable housing prices. You're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck. There's a lot of things to do, very family focused, right? A lot of families are living in Meridian. It's a sought after spot. The schools are great. People are happy out here. What else?
Yeah, I think it's important that we really hone in on the specifics of Meridian if you're interested in Meridian. So book a Zoom call with us. We can get to know you and really help you identify where in Meridian specifically makes sense, because depending on which side of the freeway you end up on, your commute can change pretty drastically. The price points are pretty different, and just your day-to-day living can be pretty different depending on where you end up in Meridian. So if you're wanting to take advantage of some of the things that we mentioned, give us a call or shoot us a text, because you don't want to end up on the wrong side of Meridian if that's what's important to you.
Sure.
But overall, the suburbs of Meridian, I think, again, another winner. I think they have the best, in my opinion, the best suburbs in the Treasure Valley.
Eagle's next. So Boise, Eagle, Meridian, they all kind of flow into each other a lot of times. You're right on Eagle Road area. You're am I in Boise? Am I in Meridian? It's kind of all relative. Going down into Eagle, Eagle's great. It's kind of like this country meets city, rural, but close to everything vibe. People in Eagle are awesome. They're happy. They're excited to be here. They love life, and they're just very positive people. There's a lot of beauty out in Eagle, close to the foothills again. There's a lot of bigger homes, a little bit bigger lots. Price point obviously is going to be up, but you're getting a lot more custom homes, a lot more higher quality finishes. Eagle's great. School districts, People love Eagle. Eagle is really sought after for, Eagle High specifically. Great sports, great academics. Eagle's great. I grew up, like I said, I'm the native here. I grew up in the West Ada school district, and so Eagle was always the rival. I had a lot of friends growing up, went to Eagle, and it's a great place to be. Restaurants are awesome. Lot of like local inspired restaurateurs, entrepreneurs. Rembrandt's is one of probably the biggest, most popular eatery over there. They do great breakfast, coffee, lunch, dinner. It's really, kind of the hub of the city. What else? What else do you think?
I think people move to Eagle because they want to live in Eagle. They're choosing to live there. They have the resources to make it happen. So everyone is very community oriented. They're very into keeping Idaho politically, if you know what I mean. Everything's very clean. You can walk around pretty much any time of day and not worry about looking over your shoulder. Yep. People there attend every community event. They go out to eat a lot. You see people on walks constantly. I think, a lot of pride of ownership, a lot of beautiful homes, and just like Nate said, a lot of really happy people. I think the one downside to Eagle, maybe other than the price point, depending on where your price point is at, is that it doesn't have great access to the freeway. So if you check it out on a map, it might look like, the freeway is only a few miles away, no big deal. But Eagle Road, the main strip that you take to get to the freeway from Eagle, gets pretty backed up with traffic. I hear that they think a lot of that traffic is going to be diverted to a street that runs parallel to Eagle Road once they have some more retail up and running down that way. But for now, traffic's pretty heavy, and if you want to get to the freeway and you're a commuter, Eagle might not be the best choice for you, or certain parts of Eagle might not be the best choice. So again, that's where getting on a Zoom call with us, we can really help figure out what you want your day to look like. Because if you love Eagle, there are other places in the Treasure Valley that you can find something kind of similar and have a little bit better access to the freeway. But I think overall, lifestyle, if it's not Boise, my choice goes to Eagle when it comes to community and lifestyle. Is that your choice?
Sure.
For the suburbs?
Absolutely. And just to add to that, Boise has the Boise River. It runs through the city. Mm-hmm. It also goes through Eagle as well. There's a really, really sweet spot down there in the heart of Eagle at the river where you can take your kids, you can go take your dogs, walk up the green belt. I mean, it's a really peaceful spot. The water's a little bit lower on that side of, that area of the town too. So, I've taken my kids, they go swimming in it, they go rafting in it occasionally if we're just out there looking for something to do. Eagle's beautiful. It's a really sweet spot.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback on that, our dog trainer said one of the things that he really, really loves about Boise and the Boise River is that he used to live in Salt Lake, and he said trying to find a spot on a river in Salt Lake versus finding a spot on the river in Boise is like a night and day difference. And it did remind me of when I lived in more populated areas like San Diego, Seattle, Atlanta. If I wanted to do anything, it was like an all-day shenanigan, and you had to get to the beach early or wherever it is early and set up a spot. To kind of help give you a better understanding of what it's like here, it's the total opposite. So if you want to run down to the river with your kids or your dog, you just run down to the river with your kids and your dog. Yeah. You just go. You want to have a picnic, you just show up. There is always an empty spot everywhere. On the holiday weekends, during big events, there's empty spots because the Treasure Valley itself, so many people have relocated here because of the access to the outdoors outside of the Treasure Valley. So a ton of people go on vacation who live here, and it feels like the things that you would think are more packed are actually even more accessible, like 4th of July weekend. I mean, it's really cool. And for me and my kids, a trip down to the river is like the morning for a few hours every single morning, get some donuts or whatever it is, go down to the river, play, go home for naps. It's really, really casual and easy. So that's something just about the overall energy of living in Idaho that I think is like really beautiful. And you're going to get that no matter what city or suburb you end up in. People here laid back and nothing is super packed and busy.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we're on the topic of ego, let's go west. We're going to go west over to Star. Star, what is Star? What's Star about? Why Star? I'm going to let Rachel start, and then I'll kind of give you my take on Star.
Star. I think Star is a little bit oversold. I think a lot of the things that people expect Star to be are very different. I owned a home there and lived there for a while, and I actually still take one of my kiddos to preschool in Star because I love the preschool so much. So I find myself there at least 2 days a week, if not sometimes more. So I feel like I have a really good grasp on what Star is like. At one point, it was this really small, quaint little country town, and a lot of people who had been priced out of Eagle decided that they wanted to buy a home in Star. They always said, you know, Eagle's spilling over into Star. Star is the next Eagle. And I think a lot of the people who have relocated there are very happy because they have their community built in. Everyone's very community oriented. But I think as it continues to grow, it's starting to feel a little congested and the resources are just not there. You have to leave Star for a lot of things, and the traffic in and out of Star can be pretty heavy. So if you're a commuter and you need to drive in the morning or in the evening, it's pretty difficult. Even Middleton, which is a little bit more west of Star, uses the main drag through Star to get anywhere. But if you're not a commuter, let's say you work from home or you're coming to retire, Star is still great. It has a lot of the community events, a lot of the access that people really want to the outdoors. It's very clean and it's very safe. Again, you're not going to look over your shoulder at night if you're outside with the kiddos. And I think if you're looking for new construction, the price points there are pretty decent. And as far as resale goes, there's a lot of neighborhoods with mature landscaping and sidewalks, and the communities are super well kept, swimming pools. So I think it's really great. Also, there are 2 very, very, very large ponds there that were donated by one of the developers, and they're doing a lot of really awesome things with those ponds so that there's more recreation in the city of Star. And the mayor there is super sweet. I have spoke with him on the phone a couple times. I could not believe it. I called the city, left a voicemail because I wanted to chat about something, and lo and behold, guess who called me back? The mayor himself. A lot of people in the Treasure Valley go to Star for the 4th of July because Star is known for everyone there being very, very patriotic, and they just have a really beautiful firework display and community event there, and it's just one of the favorites when it comes to 4th of July. 2020, when a lot of the valley decided that they were opting out of the big 4th of July celebration, Star still did theirs. Everyone was in tears. It was so beautiful. There was a prayer publicly there at the park, and everyone sang the national anthem. I mean, it was very, very beautiful. So Star, while I feel like it's a little congested and it's not the cute little quaint town that a lot of people believe it to be or have heard it is, it's a great place for relocating if you're looking for a warm and inviting community. I just don't think there's much outside of that really stands out that I would say it's a top choice when it comes to like school districts or convenience, or even if you're looking for acreage or that country feel. I think Star is just an overall, nothing really stands out as a really significant pro or a really significant con. It's just an overall general nice place to live.
Man, I think you nailed it.
Okay.
I don't know if I have too much else to add. Honestly, my 2 negatives with Star is going to be the amenities and the traffic. Right, traffic, if it's commuter time, kind of sucks. They are extending Highway 16 all the way to 84, which is going to be awesome. That is going to take time, probably 5 years-ish, plus maybe more. So until then, the traffic is kind of rough during commuter hours, but if you're not commuting and working from home, it really doesn't matter. The amenities you do, well, let me take that back. They did just remodel the Ridleys out there, and they also put in a new Albertsons, which is huge, and there's tons of things in that Albertsons. It's not a small one. It's kind of one of the like elite kind of fancy style Albertsons. So a couple of years ago, Star was still really minimal. It's starting to change a little bit more because there are more people going out there. Really, other than that, Star is beautiful. Like, it is kind of like an extension of Eagle with a lower price point. So if you are kind of looking for that Eagle feel, but don't want to pay the Eagle prices, Star might be an option for you. The big difference, in my opinion, with Eagle and Star has a little bit more of like that track home kind of feel, a little bit more of like suburbia, I guess, compared to Eagle. Eagle is a lot more of custom homes, bigger lots. Star has that, but not as much. Yeah, I was actually more negative about Star until I was out there a lot more frequently. We have a client, Janelle and Tyler, shout out to you guys, who is actively out there looking for property in Star, and it's peaceful out there. Like, I love driving out there and showing them houses. It's a beautiful place, honestly. It's one of the places that I've always kind of ignored and say it's out in the sticks, why Star? But it's beautiful, it's peaceful, great price points, people are happy there. Like everything Rachel said, I totally agree with. Middleton, let's go west even more. Middleton is definitely that small town feel.
Yes.
Tiny country town, there's like a handful of things out there. There's really not too much out there in Middleton. I always viewed Middleton as kind of like one of those like cities you just kind of drive through and then you keep going to your destination, right? There's just in and out. Middleton's really not too much to brag about. I mean, what else?
Middleton could potentially be my top choice if you're looking
Okay.
You're looking, and I'll tell you why. I think Middleton, if you're looking for a country feel and you want in your head, you've pictured Idaho and the Boise area to be, something with like one grocery store, a sweet little post office, and, the sheriff's in town. That is Middleton. But what I really like about Middleton is that they have a really robust rec department. So they have a lot of activities for the youth in Middleton, where you'll see that while Eagle and Star have a ton of community events, they don't necessarily have a robust rec department, which I felt was really odd when I moved to the Treasure Valley, because I grew up in San Diego where everything was about the rec center, rec swim, rec gymnastics, rec, like you name it. We would like run home from school, drop our backpacks, and run to the rec center to go play games with all the other kids in the neighborhood. And so when I moved to the Treasure Valley and there were not a lot of public swimming pools or rec centers, I was kind of like, what do all the youth do? So if you're moving to a small town and you have a rec center, it can help to keep the kiddos out of trouble. And Middleton has that great rec center with lots of stuff that it offers, and they also do a lot of great community events. I actually drive sometimes to Middleton for community events. Also, I think they have some of the better services there when it comes to hair salons, believe it or not. That's where I get my hair done. So I really like Middleton. If you are the person who is looking for that small town country feel, Middleton is actually probably my top choice. So,
dang, okay.
I know.
Top choice. I like that.
It's beautiful. Well, I think a lot of places out here are God's country, but Middleton, Kuna, if I had to vote on God's country views, I think, I'd go with Middleton and Kuna. So.
Yeah, and just to put it in perspective, Middleton is definitely kind of more farmland, right? It's country. If you are commuting to Boise, keep in mind it's probably an hour plus. So just keep that in mind. If you're working from home or you're having a homestead kind of lifestyle, if you're able to sustain yourself that way, Middleton could be a great option. You're going to find some really cool, interesting properties out there.
Hey guys, we're gonna go ahead and pause this video right here. We recorded the entire thing and then we saw that it was an hour long. So next week we will come out with part 2, and in that video we're going to have Kuna, Nampa, Caldwell, and we kind of go back through a little bit more in detail some of the things specific to the medical system and just
Frequently asked questions.
Yeah, frequently asked questions about the different areas that we didn't necessarily cover when we were talking through each one. So check that video out next week, part 2. Until then, be blessed.